This is a tutorial on a storytelling app called Sutori. You create stories within Sutori, but they're not limited to just stories. You can teach processes, you can teach things like equations. There's a lot you can do with it, which you'll figure out as you go through this tutorial. So when you first log into Satori, this is what you're going to see. You've got the list view of the stories you've made, as well as the forum and teacher tutorials that they automatically give you. You could look at the grid view, which shows the images in the banner for each of the different stories that you have shared with you and the ones you've made. You'll also get the number of notifications. You'll have a little red dot up there if there's something that needs your attention. And if you're under a trial, you're going to see that you have a certain number of days left up here. Now, I'll focus first on these tabs here, where if you click on My Stories, you notice again that you can create a new story, just like with all stories. You can create a new one right there, just a simple plus button. So if you go down, if you click on the story, then it's going to open up the story. But if you just click on this little blue button here, it'll allow you to view stats. And then you can get information on the number of views you've had, the number of comments made on the stories, uh, the amount of text that's been put in, the images, the video. You can get a bird's eye view of what's in your story. And then you can click on the number of times that have been viewed, quizzes, and comments. I'm relatively new to Story, and my students are not connected to it at the moment, so uh, normally you're going to see a lot more data in there. And then there are different stories that are shared with you. And again, I'm relatively new, so I've got things shared with me from the creators of Satori. You can see one of them right down in the corner here. But if you're working within your school and with your students, then you're going to have a lot more shared with you. And notice that you can create a story from there as well. So it's nice and convenient. So if you go to the Students tab, then you've got a simple little button that allows you to invite students. This is where you can create classes and things like that. As you can see here, I've created a class. This was last year. A few of my students wanted to use Satori for an assignment, so they did. And of course, why invite students? They just, well, you can get stats on your students. It's linked to Google Classroom, so you have these reminders. And if you look at the Resources tab, this is something I really like. Very quickly, I'll show you editors' picks. When they see a tutorial that they like, they will send you a message and say, hey, we'd like to highlight this. Something that I like within Satori is that they have these different guiding packs. And these come from Satori, and they give you advice on how you could use Satori. So for example, how would social studies teachers use Satori? Here's a hurricane tracker, for example. Um, year goals. So this would be the affective zone of learning. These basically work as templates. So if I was to click on school year goals, what I could do is click my little blue button and I can make a copy of the story and then I can work with it. You notice that you can actually export it to PDF as well. Or if you like it as it is, you can just share it with a link or with other people, teachers, students, whatever. But these serve as templates that you can kind of get yourself started, which is kind of nice. So if I want to find something within Satori, something somebody else has already made, and make a copy of it and play around with it, I go to the search bar. Let's say I'm doing a unit on China, which I was doing recently. Okay, so there's the resource. It's by Satori. Click on it. Ancient China. I can scroll through it and think, ooh, there's some interesting stuff in there. Could probably use it. I've got a couple of quizzes in that. I kind of like that. I'm going to go up, hit my little blue button, and I'm going to copy the story. I might export it to PDF depending on my needs. And, maybe I want to share it as is with my students. So again, I click the share button and choose what social media or email I want to use it with. Or I can embed it and put it in whatever platform my school uses. Last couple of things to point out. You'll notice that you've got some instant support right there. If you want to drop a note, they can give you a hand and, add some cute little emojis, why don't you? They're quite responsive, I find. Uh, Also, if you need a little bit of help, you click on Help, and you're going to be able to at least try to find some answers for yourself. And if not, again, you can go back to Help right here. And one last thing that I'd like to show you is that if you would like to be a Sutori ambassador, much like other educational technology companies, they want to get people out there to spread the word. And so you can do that with Sutori. And true to the nature of the platform, They want you to use their platform in the application, and they have their expectations and what you can gain from it as well as what they can gain from it. And of course, a form where you can fill out, and they will get back to you very quickly. So enjoy telling your stories, get your students telling stories, and share your stories with the world. So one last final thing is when you do create a story, make it public, publish it, share it on the platform so other people can make copies of it and modify it for their needs. There are plenty of places within the app that give you a chance to practice academic honesty by showing where you got your text or your images or videos and that kind of thing. And you can encourage your students to do that too. Happy storytelling!